Welcome to the Good Housekeeping Test Kitchen, your go-to spot for all things food, facts, and fun. Today, we're giving you the whole scoop on DIY ice cream. Of course, you can get it at the store, but homemade ice cream is an incredible edible project that's fun to make, supremely customizable, and a really cool skill to show off all summer long.
And there's really not a lot to making homemade ice cream. All you need is cream, sugar, eggs, and a little bit of flavoring. Sure, there are lots of delicious details and time-saving tricks, but we've got you covered on that.
Today we're teaching you how to be an ice cream superstar.
And walking you through the whole process step by step.
That means triple tested recipes and techniques, the best tools, genius flavor combinations, a crazy one ingredient recipe, a little ice cream history, and so much more.
So clear out some room in your freezer because your summer just got a whole lot sweeter.
Sherry, are you ready to make some ice cream?
I am.
All right, let's
do it.
start with the mother sauce of ice cream, the custard. I'm going to take 3 cups of half and half, or you can use light cream if you want it a little bit richer. I'm going to pour it in. We're going to scald this, bring it almost to a boil. All right, so that is going to cook for, I'm going to turn it up a little bit. And while I'm doing that, why don't you whisk together the sugar and the egg yolks?
So this is all some of the good stuff. So we've got 4 egg yolks here that we've separated.
Okay.
And then 3/4 of a cup of sugar for some nice sweetness. And then an 1/8 teaspoon of salt to give it some nice balance. We'll just whisk that together.
I know people are always surprised when you add salt to sweet things, but it really does bring up the flavor. I think it's a really good tip to have.
It's not enough to make it salty, but just enough to balance it out and give it a lot of depth. And so we'll just get that together. You get this nice kind of bright yellow paste. And the yolks are what give it that really yummy richness, right?
Custard, yum. Yeah, now we can see it's starting to get a little bit lighter, but let's give it another minute or so and we'll...
Yeah. This is all, I mean, I think once we're done, everyone will see it's a lot easier than people,
really easy,
people think about making my own ice cream, like that's so scary. But it's actually pretty easy, especially if you want to do some really interesting flavors that you can't find at the store.
It's always surprising how, like, when you make your own peach or strawberry ice cream, how vibrant the flavor can be. It's so fresh and bright and delicious. Not that chocolate and vanilla homemade aren't good either. But.
Right, exactly. But if you're taking advantage of the seasons and what's at the farmer's market, this is a great vehicle, and it's really impressive, and it's not that hard. So if you want to impress some guests.
See, it's also, you're getting the lighter color and you're getting more volume. It's like, it really is a little bit magical. Okay, we're starting to get some bubbles around the edge of this, but we're going to wait till it really comes up. You don't want to do a full-on boil on this. You want to just get the bubbles to come near the edge because at this point, this isn't full cream and it would curdle if you boiled it really hard. But you have to boil it for quite a while to get it to really break apart.
Be gentle. So we're doing this over medium heat,
Medium
right?
heat, yep.
Just so that we
take it gradually, right, exactly.
Coax it into its heated state.
You know, this is starting to come up,
So
let's see.
It's getting close.
It's getting close, looking good.
What do you think the relative benefits or differences are between using half and half or light cream?
With light cream, you get a little bit more fat, so you get a little bit silkier mouthfeel. I always feel like if I use half and half, I get a delicious ice cream, and I feel like I'm being a little virtuous. Right. So
it's good for you.
It does, and look, remember, it gets finished with a cup of cream, so either way, you're there. But this has the egg yolks here give you that smoothness anyway, so I'm very comfortable using a pint of half and half because it's just so easy, and you get the richness from 4 egg yolks. Are fantastic, I think. Oh yeah, this is looking good. I see there are bubbles all around the edge here, so that's kind of what you're looking for. We're going to take it another step. I like to give it a little bit of a stir because you don't want the bottom to scorch. So you can just, every couple of minutes, just give it a stir to make sure it's moving.
But don't stir it too much because then it'll never boil. If you're constantly moving it,
It'll take the temperature down.
Exactly. You're constantly cooling it down, and then it'll take even longer.
Okay, there's bubbling in the center a little teeny bit as well as on the edges. I think I'm going to do this. Sherry, I want you to move your hands because I don't want to hurt you, but there.
So now we're going to temper it because we don't want scrambled eggs,
We
right?
don't, exactly.
And so why don't you, what's tempering exactly?
Tempering is basically when you add some hot liquid into a thickener that you want to get nice and smooth. And if you add the whole thing in, it's going to be hard to stir and incorporate. So if you add a little bit at a time, you're going to get your thickening started, and this happens with cornstarch as well as egg yolk, so any thickener you do that with, it's always good to temper. Okay, so here we go. Let's temper. Doesn't mean anything about Sherry or my temperament. It just means...
So you're also slowly raising the temperature of the eggs as well.
That's about half.
And so you're going to want to really whisk once you've added that hot cream.
Looks good. Make sure you get the bottom inside.
Yeah, just until it's all together. You don't have to go crazy.
I'm going to lend you this to do the scraping in.
Yeah. And then it goes back in the pot.
Okay. That looks like you got a good bit of that out of there. Let's just go. We'll get everything. Every last bit of that juicy, delicious custard starter. Okay, that seems pretty good, Sherry. Let's go. There we go. All right. Now we're back on medium heat, and we're going to stir this. Basically, at this point, you want to stir a lot because you don't want the egg to curdle on the bottom of the pot. So the most important thing is stirring fairly frequently and also not trying to rush it on high heat, because that's when you get your little egg bits, which are not that pleasant in ice cream. As much as we love eggs, we really want to have them on the plate, not in the ice cream.
Patience, friends.
We want to take this not to a full-on pudding, but it's going to thicken slightly and coat the back of this spatula so that we can actually draw our finger through it, and maybe I'll write Sherry's name or something like that. But look, it's looking good. It's already starting to thicken. It's lovely and silky. It's beautiful.
So again, this will take a little bit of time. Have patience. It'll be well worth your while. So Susan, I know you have a notorious sweet tooth. So you must be looking forward to ice cream season. What is your go-to flavor?
You know, for summer, my go-to flavor is peach, because we live in the Northeast. We have these fabulous Jersey peaches. Everyone thinks Georgia and South Carolina. Jersey peaches, man, are fabulous.
Oh, Jersey.
So when those come into the market, I have a friend at the farmer's market who puts a lot of the really dead ripe ones underneath the counter, and I go and I buy those.
You got a guy?
Got a guy. I got a guy who knows a
Got a
guy. And it makes the most amazing ice cream. And it's just like, it's so fresh. It's just like you get this delicious vanilla-y custard, and then you get like, peaches and cream. It's so good, so delicious. So I think homemade vanilla and homemade chocolate are amazing, but the thing that I love to do is play with things that you don't get good versions of in the store, because I think that's kind of where you get the most bang for your buck. So I like to do that. And you, my dear?
I am a big texture gal. So I love anything with chunkies in it. So
this is why we get along. I'm like the purist. They always laugh.
I'm like, stuff, put more stuff in there. So I love nuts and chips and all those little crunchy bits. That's where
see, this is starting.
This
looks pretty good. This is looking pretty good. We'll go a little bit further.
Close.
Getting close here, kids.
Yeah, and feel free to invite friends over, make them take turns stirring if you get tired. But the stirring constantly is key.
It is key, because you want to incorporate the parts that's thickening, and you also just don't want to scorch that dairy on the bottom, because nobody likes the taste of scorched milk. Not a good thing.
And using a nice high quality pan probably helps too.
I think,
right?
something with a heavy bottom is good. And then also, I love using, you can use a wooden spoon, but I love using the silicone spatula, because you really can see the color, and when you drag your finger through it, you'll see the line it's almost there. What do you think?
Yeah. And the straight edges of the spatula are great for getting into the corners, because when you're stirring, you're not just stirring randomly. You want to really make sure you get into the corners of the pot, all throughout the surface of the bottom, and just really keep kind of going over everything.
Yeah. You do so this is, can you see this? This is looking pretty good. I think
we could try it.
I think we can stop. Yeah, let's see. Let's see.
So you're drawing a line.
That looks pretty good. Should we give it another minute?
Yeah, I think
Let's give it another minute. Okay.
So the idea is you pick up the spatula or the spoon, and with your finger, draw a line through it. And what you want is then when you tilt the spoon, you don't want any of the liquid to run into that line. That channel should stay there, really crisp and clear. And that means you've reached the thickness that you want.
She's such a taskmaster.
Keep going. We're not there yet.
All right. Here we go. We're getting there. Ooh,
and then once it happens, once you get close, it all happens really quickly.
It happens very quickly. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna just turn this off while we look at this, because I think we are. Okay, here we go. Are we ready? Okay, there.
May I?
Would you like to draw? There you go.
And that line is
That's
staying
yeah.
crisp and clear. So we're ready to go. The next
All
step.
right. Here we go.
Almost done.
Almost done. Now this is pretty easy. All right, well, let's bring this over. Here we go.
So we've built in a little bit of a safety net in case maybe there are a couple of little bits of cooked egg, or maybe the cream formed a little bit of a skin. If there's anything that will ruin that beautiful, creamy, smooth texture, we're going to strain it.
And that can happen if somebody's not an expert egg separator and you get a bunch of the white in there. The white will cook more quickly, so that will give you maybe a little pellet. So just, this is a safety net. People don't have to strain, but we like to strain because it just gives you, like, if you're going this far, what's cleaning one strainer?
So we've got this fine mesh strainer here, just set up over the bowl. And this is just, just a safety measure, just in case maybe you weren't stirring quite as often as you should have been, or the heat was a little hot. This will just take out any few teensy little chunks that would get in the way of the perfect smooth texture.
And again, if you don't have the egg whites separated perfectly from the yolks, the white will cook quickly, so you might get a little egg bit in there, and this helps that as well.
So you see just a little bit in there. Susan did a very good job stirring constantly, so it's just a little bit.
All right. Looks good.
We'll
Take
take
that
this
in.
away.
Okay, now I'm going to be like Miss Anal and give you a new clean spatula.
So now we're going to put in the vanilla. And of course you could leave it out, but we're going for a perfect vanilla base here. So we're going to put that in. Just a tablespoon of vanilla extract, or you could use a bean.
Right.
Which would
So
be
if you
delicious.
were going to use a bean, you would put it in when you heated the cream. So that you'd have time to infuse it. You would split it lengthwise, scrape it out a little bit, and let it cook with the cream. And that's when sometimes you see those little tiny flecks in vanilla ice cream. That's from the bean. All right, that looks good. Should I pour you some cream?
Yep.
Okay.
So here we've got a cup of heavy cream now. So before was half and half, or light cream. Now we've got heavy cream.
This is the full fat one. This is the...
Go for it. If you're going to make your own ice cream, go for it.
Yeah. Excellent.
So we're just going to stir all that together. And it's all very smooth and luscious right now.
And so before you do your next step, you'll want to chill this for 2 hours. You can just cover it and put it in the fridge for 2 hours, and then you can proceed. So
Off to the fridge.
Off to the fridge. So our canister's going in. Excellent.
Tight.
And
Let's
now
get that custard.
Let's get the custard. This is called a dasher, and it is basically the whisk of ice cream making. We're going to put that in. And Sherry has our custard, which we'll scoot in there.
So this has been chilled now for 2 hours, just in the fridge, not the freezer. And we're gonna put, this particular model has to run when you add the custard to it.
All right,
So
so
put the lid back on.
we'll turn it on. Get used to this noise. You'll hear it for about 20 to 30 minutes.
So you see the frozen canisters spinning, and the dasher is actually staying still.
Yep, in some models the dasher moves, in other models the canister moves. Okay, are we ready?
So in goes the custard.
Here goes the custard. Go ahead.
Right through the hole at the top.
And I'll scrape for you afterwards. You look like you're there. Just lift it a little tiny bit. That's gorgeous. Oh, beautiful. Ooh.
Nice and
It's nice
silky.
and custardy and thick and perfect. All right, let's
Scrape for me.
let's get every drop that we can in here.
No custard left behind.
Custard left behind. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. Looking good, Sherry. I think we're done here. All right.
Great.
Here we go.
That's all set.
All right, so this is going to go for about 20 minutes, right? But if we're going to do add-ins, we would stop at 15 and add whatever solids, like anything from fruit to chips to nuts to all of Sherry's things that she loves.
And 20 minutes is just roughly the amount of time. You'll get a sense of when it's done, and we'll show you what that looks like.
Exactly. If you're an ice cream enthusiast like we are, you need to know that the canister needs to freeze for 24 hours. Now, I have a friend who keeps her canister in the freezer at all times. As soon as she empties it out, she just rinses it, puts it back in the freezer, so there's ice cream on demand. But just know, just clear a little area in your freezer. 24 hours really will give you the best texture, because you want this canister to be really, really cold.
So always be ready to go.
All right, Sherry, it's been 20 minutes. This looks gorgeous. It's beautiful.
It looks like ice cream.
I think we're going to turn it off. All right, let's try it. Okay, ready?
So we're taking the top,
Taking
the
the
lid
top
off. Let's check.
Let's check. Oh yeah, this
That
is
looks good.
It's gorgeous. See how so it's all like beautifully like billowy cream in a way. It's got some nice thickness to it. It's not as hard as ice cream, and you don't want it to be because then you'd never get it off the dasher. This has got a lot of air whipped into it, so it's really gorgeous. What I would do now is transfer this to a canister container that would fit more easily in your freezer, and then you're good to go.
And you have ice cream.
Get your toppings ready.
So it's easy. It does take a little bit of planning, but it's so
Delicious.
worth it.
All right, since it's so delicious, really taste.
Oh, okay.
It's really good, right? Okay, I'll taste it too.
Now you go.
Ooh.
I mean,
Oh, it's a
nothing
perfect
beats
amount of vanilla too. It's really good. Okay, let's move this off and have a little party.
it. Yeah.
So, as we just tasted, you can eat the ice cream as it is, just out of the freezer, or you can flavor it. We've got two different ways to flavor it that we want to show you. One of them is you'd actually flavor the cream as you're heating it before you make the custard. And the other way that Sherry's going to show you, because she's the queen of add-ins and chopped up stuff, is that you add the stuff halfway through the churning process. So I'll go first. This is one that I love. It's got a little bit of an Italianate flavor. It is lemon peel that you just peel like a lemon in strips. And your goal is to get the lemon so that you don't have any of the white on it. The white has bitterness, so you want to get the lemon right down to the outer yellow peel. I'm just going to put that in.
There's a lot of intense flavor.
It's just so
right on
bright,
that peel,
and it's not
right?
sour, but it's just, it almost gets a floral feel to it. So we're going to do that. And then the other thing that complements that is some cinnamon sticks. And those two will go in, and you'll heat them to the boiling. And then what I would do is just cover it and set it aside for about an hour, just to really steep, like you're steeping tea, steep the flavor. And then you can proceed with the custard. Take out all of those solids and proceed with the custard.
Yeah, and I mean, you can really customize this however you want. Let your imagination run wild. What I love is to infuse the cream with nuts. And so here I've got some chopped toasted walnuts. Or you could even use hazelnuts.
Ooh, I love. That's
A little more luxurious, but delicious. And you chop them because the more surface area there is, the more flavor will actually get into your cream. And so you just need a couple ounces for your cream, and you'll let it steep, just like with the lemon and the cinnamon, for about an hour, and then strain it out. You don't, once you've soak them in the cream, you can't really use them anymore. They've really absorbed too much liquid.
They get a little rubbery.
Yeah, they're kind of chewy. So if you wanted to add for double nut flavor, you can add some new toasted chopped nuts towards the end.
And she keeps saying toasted, and that's really important because when you're doing this, you want to get the most intensity. Remember, this is not a huge amount of nuts, but if you toast them really beautifully, not burning them, but really get an intense toast on them, it really gets the ice cream just so delicious. Especially, I'm a big hazelnut fan, so that's where I'm going.
So if you like texture in your ice cream like I do, you can add in mix-ins for more texture. The key thing is you don't add it in the beginning. You add it about halfway to 3/4 of the way through the churning process. So here, we've had our custard base in there for about 15 minutes now.
Right, that's about good,
right?
yeah.
And you can really go crazy with the combinations. Do whatever you'd like. Chocolate chips, chopped nuts. What would you put in there? I know you're a purist, but if you had
I
to.
love the fruit, and I would probably get in with like a toasted pecan or a toasted walnut. I
get down with the toasted
Yeah,
nuts?
I can do that.
So here, for a little nuttiness, we've got some peanut butter chips, which are my favorite. A little salty, a little sweet. So we're gonna put those in. And this ice cream maker has this handy dandy hole at the top, and that makes it really easy to add these in.
And so when you are adding things, you want to make sure that they're kind of the size of a chip or maybe just a little bit bigger, because if they're too big, they're going to get caught in the dasher and underneath. And also, you just want lots of little bites, I think. But whatever.
A little bit in each bite.
A little bit in each bite.
And then, in addition to the peanut butter chips, we're gonna add some macerated strawberries.
And why are you macerating them? Yes, to get them a little bit sweeter, but really in season, you want the sugar there so that they're not going to freeze rock hard. The sugar helps to keep them a little bit pliable, so you'll get like a nice frozen but slightly chewy strawberry.
So here go the macerated strawberries. And you'll see all that yummy strawberry juiciness is going to carry that strawberry flavor all throughout the ice cream.
And make it a little pink.
And see, it's already turning a little pink, which is great, because then you know it's strawberries. So now the mix-ins are in,
Okay.
but we're not quite done churning yet.
No, we want it, it's gotten a little soft doing that, so we want to just let it freeze for another 5 or 10 minutes till we get that texture that we showed you with the vanilla, where it's kind of like dollopy and beautiful and smooth. So we'll just let this go for a few more minutes and we'll taste it.
And your patience will be rewarded.
So a couple of hours in the freezer made this beautiful, scoopable, and Sherry, I have to say, I want to try these mix-ins.
Oh, I do too. Let's go.
Oh, good.
Super fresh strawberry flavor.
Really good, really good. Not like
And then the little kicks of salty peanut butter from those chips. Not too shabby.
delicious. All right, so this is just one of the many flavors you can do with your ice cream base, and I recommend it.
PB&J ice cream. Look into it.
Have fun getting creative with your favorite ingredients.
Cheers.
Cheers.
When it comes to serving ice cream, you're gonna need to have a good scoop. The Z-Roll Original Scoop is our favorite. This is the cool part. There's heat conducting fluid in this handle, so it warms the ice cream as you scoop and cuts through like butter. Plus, take a look. There's no moving parts on this handle. It's really solid and it won't break on you. The Z-Roll Original Scoop costs $19. If you're a serious ice cream maker, you want to use the best equipment. And for that, we love this model from Cuisinart. It costs $90 and it beat out all the other products we tested. My favorite part, this opening here, makes adding chocolate, nuts, sprinkles, and candy super easy. In our testing, it made fabulous peach sorbet, and you can make up to 2 quarts at once. Here at the Good Housekeeping Institute, we know that not everyone wants to spend $90 on an ice cream maker. For a budget buy, we recommend the model from Hamilton Beach, and it's only $35. And in our tests, it made super smooth vanilla ice cream. The amazing part, it outperformed models that cost up to 10 times its price. We tested 18 different ice cream makers. It was hard work, but someone had to do it. We have a fast and fun hack for making kind of homemade ice cream at home, any flavor you'd like.
You don't have to have an ice cream maker to make customized ice cream, and you don't have to plan a ton in advance if you want to make your own ice cream.
Nope, all you need to do is go to the freezer section of your grocery store, pick out a plain vanilla ice cream, and you can customize it to be whatever flavor you'd like. Fancy, exotic, fun.
Get really creative. I mean, whatever you want. The key, though, is to make sure that it's softened first.
Yes, so I like to pop mine in the microwave a few seconds just until it's soft enough to stir things in, but not soupy liquidy, because it'll never refreeze the right way.
Exactly. Or you could stick it in the fridge for about an hour or so and just let it slowly soften up.
So we're gonna make 2 of our favorites. I have some soft ice cream here. You have some soft ice cream there. We're gonna show you 2 different ways. I'm doing it in the electric stand mixer, and you're doing it by hand.
I'm doing old school, but that's okay because that's how you make up for the ice cream. Work out your
Muscles.
guns.
So I'm just putting this in. You've got yours there. And let's just soften it up a little bit to begin with before we even start putting anything in, just so. I'm gonna help it along by kind of smushing it a bit. Just so
That's
that
a
there's
technical term, by the way.
smush. Because you don't want the worst thing about an ice cream is when you have your toppings and sort of mix-ins and clumps, right?
Yeah.
You want it evenly distributed.
Right. A little bit in each bite.
Yay, that looks good. All right, so then you put your mix-ins in. What do
Yeah.
you have?
So I'm modeling mine after this really awesome ice cream shop in Portland, Oregon called Salt and Straw. And they have this really yummy ice cream that's wildflower honey with ricotta walnut lace cookies.
Sounds good.
So we don't have that because we're not there right now, but here's my take on it.
Okay.
I've got some toasted chopped walnuts here. And a little bit of honey. I'm just gonna drizzle that in. Ooh. And then we've got some crushed up cookies. If you can find the lace cookies are awesome too, but really whatever cookies you want.
And that's gonna give you so much nice crunch with the nuts as well.
So that goes in. And then it's just me, this spatula, and my guns. Just mushing it in.
Make you work for it.
Exactly. And you're just gonna fold. And what I love about this is that the honey, as it hits the cold ice cream, it kind of solidifies into this like chewy, almost caramel
Kind of like
texture.
those ribbons that you find in ice cream anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So fancy.
That looks like it has so much
But
yummy texture
Really
too.
easy. Yeah.
How would you serve this? Once you go and refreeze this, how would you just scoop it out? Would you put it in a cone?
I would probably just serve it straight up. There's so much going on in here that I don't think you need much else. And but you definitely want to refreeze this.
Yeah.
It's getting a little more firm because it has melted just a little bit. But yeah, so how easy was that? That was fast.
Awesome.
Right?
Well, one of my favorite ice creams ever is right where I live in Brooklyn. It's a shop called Ample Hill. Ample Hill makes this amazing ice cream called Snap Mallow Pop, based on Rice Krispie treats, which are the best thing ever. They do marshmallow ice cream with Rice Krispie clusters. I'm gonna make it a little bit easier. I'm gonna stick with my vanilla base, but I'm going to add freeze-dried marshmallows.
What are those? Tell me about those.
Those are basically the small marshmallows you'd find in hot chocolate or some sort of cereal. You can buy them in bulk. I got these from nuts.com, and they are so delicious, and they stay nice and crispy in ice cream, which is key because freezing regular marshmallows is kind of weird. So I'm going to put these.
And they're so perfectly teeny tiny.
I'm gonna go this way. I'm gonna put a lot in just because I'm a marshmallow nut. And I'm gonna put in crushed Rice Krispie treats. These happen to be from my local bakery because they make the most incredible salted caramel ones. But I often do this at home with just regular homemade Rice Krispie treats anyway. So I just broke them up into little clusters. These are gonna be so crunchy and yummy, and because these ones are salted caramel, I'm gonna add a little salt, which is so great with the sweet ice cream.
Everybody loves that salty, sweet combo.
I know. They're all stuck. Dangers of working with marshmallows, they get so sticky. So I'm just gonna start with a few, and then I can add in as much as I'd like. And I am gonna mix it up. So like you said, this is gonna go back in the freezer to refreeze for a bit. I think you need a couple hours, at least 3, I would say.
Yeah. And of course, it depends on how often you're opening up your freezer, how cold your freezer is. So
Yeah.
just check. And everyone likes ice cream a little differently. I know a lot of people who actually like really super melty ice cream.
Really? Weirdos.
Yeah, they're really into it. I love my ice cream like rock hard, really firm.
Yeah.
So that's up to you. There's no set time.
And then you have some options. You can either refreeze this right back at the container that you already started with, so pack it back in your quart or your half gallon. You could freeze it in another cake pan, or my favorite thing to do is freeze it in a pie crust and just make an ice cream pie. But it's up to you. You can freeze it however you like.
Or you could put it in a loaf pan, and that would make for really easy scooping. You get these nice, pretty scoops as you go
Yeah.
along the length of like a metal loaf pan. And the metal pan will help it freeze much faster, too.
Yeah, bonus. So shall we taste each
Yes.
other's? Please, by all means. Oh, yours looks so good. That's really good. I love how crunchy the cookies are and the toasted walnuts. That's really delicious.
And I love the texture of those Rice Krispie treats in there because they're chewy, but they're salty, and then there's that little crackly pop, and those marshmallows are key. They're clutch.
Oh my gosh, I get you just this whole
I will leave you alone with that bowl. Go ahead.
Awesome. Well, we're so excited to see what kind of flavors you could dream up. The options really are endless, and the great thing about this hack is that it's so easy to make. You can try so many different options without spending that much time. So make a selection, throw a party, and send us your faves.
And get crazy.
Yeah.
These days, we can get ice cream anywhere, from the corner store to the vending machine to any great ice cream shop that's happening. But back in the day, in the 1880s, when Good Housekeeping started, ice cream really was a special treat, saved for really fancy occasions, special dinner parties, weddings. It would often show up as a course that was brought out in a beautiful, multi-layered mold. Think about those copper molds that you see hanging in old kitchens, that kind of thing. Remember, people didn't have freezers back then. Probably the most famous ice cream treat of the 19th century is baked Alaska. It's a layer of cake with scoops and scoops of ice cream, a billow of meringue on top that's then broiled and often brought to the table as a presentation flaming, then divided. Perhaps some brandy goes on top of it. Fabulous. Mid-century post-war exuberance extended to when everybody was getting freezers at home, so there were lots of ice cream confections being made. People were certainly making ice cream, hand cranking it, but they were also making confections in cake pans and other molds that they had at home. So ice cream took on that look of the 19th century at home. In the psychedelic 60s and 70s, ice cream took on another look. Remember, tie-dye, there were lots of things getting layered in, bright pistachios, berry colors, lots of fruit, maybe even some granola. These days, it's easier than ever to get ice cream, but it's also easier than ever to make it.
Would you believe that you can make the fastest, healthiest ice cream with only one ingredient? Gabby knows how to.
I do. So what I have here is 4 bananas that have been frozen for 1 to 2 hours, and that's actually all that you're going to use to make this ice cream. If you already had bananas in the freezer, you can just pull them out for 5 to 10 minutes to thaw them, and that's fine too.
And you've cut those, so you have your 4 bananas cut into like 1-inch coins.
Yeah,
so
try to cut them uniformly so that they will blend easier. So
this is the secret.
putting the bananas in the food processor.
And you want bananas that are not too ripe, but not too raw either,
Yeah, you don't want
Gabby?
them to be like too mushy.
Because mushy bananas...
It won't be as pretty.
Yeah, they're brown bananas, and brown ice cream is just not that delicious.
It's not going to be chocolate ice cream.
Right. It'll just be weird, mushy banana ice cream.
Just put this all in here.
Do you need help? Sorry, I'm standing here chatting. I'm not helping.
So this will probably be enough for 2 people. I usually can eat 2 bananas by myself.
So 2 bananas. So what is that? So
bananas
it's like
per
only
person.
200 calories for the whole
yeah,
container.
for like a
you
medium
then.
banana, I think.
That's awesome.
So just put this in here.
And mega bonus if you're dairy-free, if you are
Vegan.
vegan,
Yes,
all those
gluten-free.
things. All in this ice cream.
Everything.
This ice
It's
cream
perfect.
is
It's
everything for
magic.
everyone.
This is how it's done.
All right, so are you pulsing or are you processing?
I'm going to pulse, and it's going to look a little bit crumbly at first, but just keep going. It'll all smooth out.
Okay, so
Here we
pulse it
go.
up. Ooh.
See, it's getting creamy.
It looks like banana pudding right now.
Yep.
And the bananas, when you're blending them, they almost lighten a bit, so it kind of looks like vanilla ice
It's
cream.
like soft serve.
Yeah.
Let's check it out.
That looks
Looks
good.
pretty smooth. I didn't even really need to.
Gosh.
I didn't even really need to scrape anything. It just kind of all came together.
Cool.
So, gonna put. Is this my bowl?
Yeah. All right, so this is the fun part. We're actually going to eat it,
Yeah.
obviously. We're going to show you 2 different ways. So what are you going to do?
I'm gonna make my breakfast version because it's just bananas. So
Ice
of course
cream
I
for
can eat this for breakfast.
It is bananas. You're
Yeah,
right.
it's
Get
literally
it?
just bananas.
Literally bananas.
And I'll leave some for you.
Thank you. All right,
Actually,
so
I'm gonna take a little bit more.
God, you're stealing my ice cream.
Sorry. So I'm gonna top mine with granola.
Yep.
I'm just gonna do all the granola.
So I mean, like, how great for breakfast lovers, or especially kids who hate eating breakfast. You give them this, and you're like, hey,
tell them
some
it's ice cream.
All right. So you've done breakfast. You have
Yes.
some berries, raspberries,
Berries,
blueberries,
granola,
and granola.
toasted coconut would be great
so
on here.
Healthy. I'm gonna top mine with rainbow sprinkles because why not?
That works too.
I mean, honestly, I would eat this for
You
breakfast.
can still eat that for breakfast.
You can
yeah.
still eat
it's
this for
still
breakfast.
just bananas with sprinkle.
We don't have any spoons. Here's a spoon.
Just lap
Please,
it up.
you partake first.
Okay.
And I'm gonna partake
Mix it all up.
baby spoon. So mix it up. So this really is like soft serve. So if you have like a frozen yogurt
Yeah.
addiction and you're spending all of that money going out to the store to
Exactly.
get your frozen yogurt with all of your toppings, just get some bananas. It's like $1 or $2 for a bunch. You freeze them. It's healthy. It's good for you. And it's really, really tasty and delicious and fast and fun. Mmm. And it tastes like banana still, which is great because they're nice and sweet, really creamy, nice and
It
cold.
kind of tastes like banana pudding too. I wish I had some wafers.
And the best part is, it is healthy and it still satisfies that creamy sweet craving that you might get. So instead of turning to a pint of ice cream, which who can put it away
Right.
once you've started,
Not me.
this is a far healthier, cooler alternative. Once you've made your amazing homemade ice cream, it's your choice how you serve it. I love putting the ice cream right into a store-bought graham cracker crust. Put the ice cream in while it's still a little bit soft, pop it in the freezer, top it with some whipped cream, obviously, and then serve it for a fabulous no-bake summer dessert.
I'm a sucker for pure vanilla ice cream, which I blended with frozen watermelon chunks to make this pretty pink milkshake.
I love ice cream sandwiches, especially when it's a homemade chewy chocolate cookie that freezes perfectly.
And I go for the classic, a sundae, but with a twist. I like to crumble up stale cornbread or pound cake, mix it with a little brown sugar, pop it in the oven so it gets toasty and crunchy, and then crumble it all over my ice cream. Add a little caramel sauce and a cherry on top, and there's my sundae.
All right, so let's dig in. Nice cherry, Sherry.